Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B Foster, and what we're doing is our featured player of the week. We're going to keep the off-season vibes going, and without further ado, Foster is going to talk about this week's featured player of the week, which is an NFL free agent prospect, Bryce Huff, of currently or last year played for the New York Jets. But I'm gonna let Foster tell you all about him, and it's on you, Foster.
So, like June said, this is the feature player is our first free agent highlighted person. He is an edge rusher from the New York Jets, and he's coming off a pretty good year. He had 10 sacks, one pass breakup, 29 tackles, 10 of which were tackles for loss, 21 QB hits, and he played in all 17 games. Now, going into the 2023 season, he was coming off a just a mediocre, not a very good year. 3.5 sacks. And he's not a guy that had high expectations coming out of college because he was actually undrafted out of Memphis. So going into the 2023 season, the Jets did draft a an edge rusher in the first round. So somebody that could eventually be his replacement. Well, in limited time, he only played in 45% of the snaps. He was able to accomplish 10 sacks, which is quite remarkable. And yeah, so essentially the Jets pretty much, pretty much said, "You're not high priority. We just drafted somebody in the first round. They just spent money on Quentin Williams and C.J. Mosley, which is pretty much their high end, well paid guys in the front seven. So there's really not room for another high priced guy. He's coming. Huff is coming off a really good season, 10 sacks and only half the snaps, a little under half the snaps. So Bryce Huff made it very apparent that no hometown discount. The highest bidder gets me. The Jets basically said we're not likely to franchise tag you. That would cost them $21 million this year, which is quite a bit for a guy who has had one good season and who they're not prioritizing as a future candidate. So he is likely going to hit the free agent market. Now, the one knock on Bryce Huff is he's not very good against the run. So that's one thing that is of concern to anybody that's interested in going after him. But aside from that, he's got good production rushing off the edge. He played for a top tier defense this year, and he's only 25. So he's a guy that is ascending in the right direction. He's definitely looking to be a high a highly paid edge rusher in this upcoming year. So as far as his fit with the Lions, obviously we would love to see him lined up on the opposite side as Hutch. We got Huff and we got Hutch. Got a little ring to it. Um, but but anyways, yes. Obviously, like I said, there's a concern as far as his ability to stop the run. My common theme is I'm not so concerned about that. It is what it is. If he's getting to the quarterback, he's creating havoc down there and he's making things easier for our secondary. That's all I can really ask for. So I'm not mad at seeing him just for the simple fact, if nothing else, for one, he played in all 17 games, which is, I'm all about durability. Um, he only played in half the snaps and was able to manage that much. If he comes to Detroit, especially at the ticket that he's going to want, he's going to play much more snaps, and his production should be pretty good. He's got another guy on the opposite side that he can race to the quarterback with, and he's got all the metrics and attributes that you want from an edge rusher. So he's the first player that we're highlighting as far as the free agent players are concerned. And I hope that if we can't get a top-notch guy like a Burns, Hunter, um, who else is up at the top of that? Burns, Hunter, Josh Allen, a guy of that of that caliber, I would love to see them go after Bryce Huff. I keep wanting to call him Aubrey Huff. That's an old baseball player, but Bryce Huff out of Memphis, played for New York Jets last year.
Let me ask you something before we get out of here.
What's
You had your
up?
choice. Pick of the litter. You take Daniil Hunter, Bryce Huff, or Burns.
I don't have their ages in front of me. I know Hunter is probably the oldest.
Let's not think money. Let's just
Not
think.
not think that. Just think.
No,
Just on
let's
the surface. On the
on the surface.
surface, Hunter for sure. Hunter for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
thanks
for
again.
it's
Okay.
because I don't want it. My bad. Just for the simple fact that it takes him away from anybody else. Him causing havoc for as a Chicago Bear, as a Minnesota Viking, as a Green
Foster,
Bay Packer.
Foster. We can't be bitter baby mamas in this
No,
thing,
not bitter.
man.
No, not being bitter, but he no longer becomes our problem. He becomes our asset.
Yeah, I
It's
see what you're saying, but what I'm
killing
saying
two
is like,
birds.
if
Killing
we
two
can't
birds.
have them, you can't either.
No, not so much that as it is that he can no longer create that issue. We saw the Vikings play this year. Granted, we beat them both times. Hunter is a problem, and I would hate to see him get lined up on the other side with Marcus Sweat.
Yeah, but what if they
That,
get Huff? What if Minnesota gets Huff?
if we get Hunter, they can have Huff.
There it is. That's this week's featured player of the week, Bryce Huff. I can't give him a Lions roar yet.
Not yet.
We'll see. It remains to be seen.